Ako po si Tena Rose Andante.
At ako naman si Derwin Calientes.
At kayo'y nanonood ng Mabuhay Montreal TV.
Welcome back to MMTV. Mike Bustos came to Montreal to do a show. Let's watch Hayden, who had a chance to get an exclusive interview with him.
I have a dream that one day Filipinos everywhere will take over the world. But in order for that to happen, we must remember the Filipino way. And that is why I am here. I am Super Pinoy Boy.
My full name is Michael John Yadan Tumangil Pestaño Bustos. Try saying that 5 times.
Opo Pinoy style. I got my balikbayan box. So pull up imported products.
I don't know what it is.
Hey everyone, I'm Hayden Whiting and I'm sitting here with Mikey Bustos. How you doing, Mikey?
I'm doing okay.
Yeah, bienvenue à Montréal.
Oh, merci beaucoup.
You're originally from Toronto, but you
I am
actually lived in Montreal for a while.
That's correct. I was born and raised in Toronto, but I did move here in 2007 and spent 3 years here, and it just was totally amazing. Love being back here in Montreal.
You're known for being a multidisciplinary artist. I
suppose.
Yeah, I mean, it's impossible to fit you into one category. I mean, you sing, you do radio, you do comedy. Did you ever imagine that all of this could be happening right now when you first started out?
Well, I kind of had no plan. I just knew what I liked. And I've kind of made it a life mission to just do things that I like and just run with it. And that's what I've done. And singing has been a passion of mine, so I've pursued that, and that's really flourished. And then the comedy is kind of something new that I've discovered, and I learned I liked it, so I just kind of ran with it too on YouTube. So
It
I
seems
did
very
that.
natural for you though to do that, to mix kind of both together, the comedy and the singing. And
Well, it's really funny because most people expect me to be a big comedian, even in person, but I'm quite serious, mostly. So the comedy just kind of was this Pinoy boy character that just came out of nowhere and that just manifested somehow. And I suppose everything I do are little facets of my personality that were buried and are now kind of manifested into the world.
Most people know you, of course, from your experience on Canadian Idol and the singing career that followed after that. But for some people like me, actually, discovered you on YouTube, thanks to a video called the Filipino Accent Tutorial.
Awesome.
The first thing to know is there are no F sounds. Palo, flip, pak, Filipino, Philippines, family, snowflake. No B sounds. Victory, ban, bibo, living la vida loca, golden retriever.
It was really amazing when I created that video. It was kind of just out of the blue. Again, this was before my whole comedy thing.
Right.
And I just wanted to upload a video to make some of my friends laugh. Didn't think anyone would watch it. But as soon as it went viral, it really just changed my life and changed the direction of my life. And that opened a whole new chapter and art form that I was able to, access and kind of use as my form of expression. So as an artist, it really is a cool thing to have the comedy, to have the music, which is the serious stuff, and even the video making itself is kind of another art form, and now bringing it to the stage. So it's really fun to be able to express yourself artistically through different platforms.
You're making songs now. You're even covering stuff.
Yeah.
And using that as
It's kind of a platform.
Even the technical part of it, Avicii's Wake Me Up.
That's right, yeah. That was a kind of a cool thing. I mean, most people knew me because of YouTube. as just a comedian. And so when the Avicii video, the a cappella video I did, went viral and it made it to the Today Show and Good Morning America, that to me was a relief because it kind of was my first introduction to the world, besides Canadians, of course, that I'm a singer too.
So wake me up when it's all over, when I'm wiser and I'm older. Oh, this time I was finding myself and I didn't know I was lost.
But you're also doing a lot of work in the Philippines, and you're pretty much having a lot of success there. You've been on network TV. You've got some acting going, and some endorsements also. How did expanding your career to the Philippines come about?
I had tried to enter showbiz in the Philippines before the YouTube thing as just a singer. And I did a few stuff there, but with little success. I think it wasn't until the YouTube thing just kind of blew up that I ended up in the Philippines. And URC, a company of a snack brand called Chicharon y Mangjuan, flew me to the Philippines to shoot some commercials, which then kind of spiraled into a TV career there. I was signed by GMA TV network in the Philippines. Now I'm on radio, and it's just really spiraled into so many different ways to entertain people, and it's just, I'm kind of living a dream there. It's really fantastic.
But you say you're working on radio now, and how different is that for you? Because you're obviously very visual, you're very physical in your acting and your singing and everything.
Right.
Now just sitting in front of a mic, I mean, well, what kind of show is it?
Yeah, well, radio was kind of a different dynamic, again, like you said, because there was no visual at all. You kind of have to entertain with just your voice. So I really learned a lot about the pitch of my voice and intonation and that sort of thing, which you don't normally learn from just performing or from acting. But yeah, it was really a great learning experience, and I love it. Our show is kind of like a Howard Stern meets Oprah. We're a discussion show, and callers call in the morning. It starts from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. And there are three of us. It's myself, Sam O, a co-host of mine, and another co-host, DJ Mo Twister, who is the most, I guess, controversial, one of the most controversial people in the Philippines right now.
Oh,
He's
really?
always in the news.
Maybe we can listen to that somewhere on the internet, or is it
Yeah,
just,
people can tune in actually from here by logging on to magic899.fm.
Now, spending so much time working and living in the Philippines, have there ever been moments where you're reminded of your Canadian roots? And has this ever made you feel maybe a little bit on the outside, or have you taken advantage of that,
Well,
in fact, and it's helped you out?
I feel really blessed because I'm in a unique situation where here I grew up, raised in the Filipino culture, but in Canada, so I could see the minute differences in Canadian culture that are different to Filipino culture. And then when I moved to Philippines, it was swapped. So as a Canadian, I could see all the differences in Filipino culture, that were different from what I knew as a Canadian growing up. So from that perspective, I was able to come up with some really neat material for YouTube and for the stage, for performing. Like I'll be performing for this concert tonight here in Montreal. It's a unique situation to be in as an observer, to be part of both worlds.
So this tour is called the Balikbayan Box Tour. So when did it start, and where have you been, and where are you planning on going?
Yeah, well, the Balikbayan Box Tour was named the Balikbayan Box Tour because, based on one of my popular videos, Balikbayan Box, which was a wrecking ball parody of. So for those of you who haven't seen it, be sure to check it out. I named it that also because I find this concert in particular was my care package that I've crafted back home in the Philippines and brought back here to Canada to show to everybody. And there's a lot of great surprises. I think this show is one of my most interactive shows that I've ever done. And it's a mix of video and dancing and props and costume and comedy, some spiels and different gags. So it's I was really excited to bring this to Canada. We performed already in Toronto, done 2 shows there. Performed last night in Niagara Falls, and tonight we're bringing it to Montreal.
All right. And are you going to be following up after this? After Montreal, is this?
Yeah, I believe our next stop might possibly be Japan. Yeah.
So this is a world
next month.
tour.
Well, I'm hoping so.
Yeah.
The inquiries just come in, and the support has been so fantastic. I feel really lucky to have such a supportive base of supporters. All you guys out there, you Filipinos and non-Filipinos, thank you guys so much for supporting me and making my dreams come true. I vow to continue to bring you entertainment and laughs and inspiration.
Now, on this tour, though, what's important to mention is that it's to benefit the Apple Share project.
That's right.
Can
Yes.
you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, the Apple Drive project is an advocacy that started in the Philippines, headed by a good friend of mine named RJ Garcia. And he's actually here too, on tour with me. And they are the beneficiary, I guess, advocacy for this concert. So part of the proceeds go to help the Apple Drive project. And what that is the poor children in the Philippines are often given candy by their parents because it's so cheap. So chips, snacks, chocolate bars are an often easy snack and meal sometimes for families to give their kids. So this advocacy promotes the healthy eating of children. So we go out into the communities and we give apples to kids and teach them, healthy eating and proper hygiene and that sort of thing. And it's all headed by RJ Garcia, who's a fantastic individual. And I've been on these Apple Drives around Philippines, and it really is fulfilling to see the kids enjoying apples for the first time.
And I guess people can donate on the website, or
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay. So what can we expect from Mikey Bustos in the coming future after this tour and?
Yeah. Well, after the tour, of course, you can see me on TV. I'm now freelance, so I appear on several networks, not just one. You might have seen me on Bubble Gang on Channel 7, but I also appear on Channel 2 now. I recently did some commercials for TFC, so some TV guestings, internet, of course. I've got YouTube videos regularly uploaded, so be sure to subscribe to me, all of you guys out there. And just performing. I hope to be back soon again.
For some live shows.
For some live shows. I recently also did this awesome Google project, so check out Google Mo Lang on Google, and you'll see a bunch of us YouTubers got together for that. And just, expect some random projects to just pop up. I'm working on a lot of cool, neat things.
Fantastic, great. Well, we'll let you get ready for the show. So
Thank you.
Thank you a lot, Mikey.
All right.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
Right. Mikey Bustos.
My work is done. Tama na. Super tricycle to the super bahay kubo. Po!
Good evening. Magandang gabi sa inyong lahat. Ito po ay si Sinaida Carubi, reporting from the Minister's Regional Office in Montreal. Tonight, we have an exclusive interview with Minister of Employment and Social Development, the Honorable Jason Kenney. Good evening, Sir Kenney.
Salamat po. Great to be here.
I'm very happy to see you and have this chance to talk to you. Mr. Kenney, can you please explain to us your function as the Minister of Employment and Social Development?
Well, it means I'm responsible for the largest department in the government, which is responsible for about 40% of what the Government of Canada spends, because we administer all of the pension programs, employment insurance, housing, programs for the youth, training programs, job training programs. So it's a very big department. But my main focus is on making sure that Canadians have the skills that are necessary to succeed in our changing economy.
What are the changes to the Foreign Workers Program?
For the temporary foreign workers.
That's right.
Well, we want to ensure that Canadians are always have the first opportunity to be employed when jobs are available in Canada, which is why we have tightened the rules to ensure that there is a limited number of temporary foreign workers permitted in any particular business for entry-level positions. We think that employers should make every effort to hire those Canadians first, young Canadians, recent permanent immigrants, Aboriginals, persons with disabilities, And only if they can not find any Canadians available, only then should they be able to have access to people to work from abroad on a temporary visa.
What is then the difference between the new changes or the new program against the old one?
The main difference is that employers have to demonstrate very clearly their efforts to recruit Canadians. They have to pay a higher application fee to cover the cost of the administration of the program, and also to help us pay for better labor market information. We'll be doing surveys to know better where there are skill shortages in Canada and how much people are being paid in different occupations. And we also need to hire additional public servants to do a better job of policing the program. We had some abuses in the program, where, especially for the entry-level positions, where employers were sometimes not paying their people what they were supposed to, or they were not telling the truth, or they were mistreating the temporary foreign workers. And quite frankly, we didn't have enough oversight and policing of the program. So the higher fees will help us to pay for better oversight and management of the program.
What are the changes to the foreign workers program and the caregiver program?
The most important change is that we've ended the live-in requirement. We think this is the live-in requirement made caregivers vulnerable in too many cases. Having said that, we'll continue to have access to permanent residency for caregivers. If they come on their temporary work permit, they can then apply either for permanent residency as a child caregiver, or if they have a higher level of training and certification and they work with seniors in care, they can access another permanent residency visa, or they could also actually come to Canada as caregivers with permanent residency if they qualify through the new Express Entry program. So, and one last point I want to make. All of the caregivers who are in the current system that arrived before last month, I think it's before November 21st, all of those caregivers will be allowed to obtain permanent residency based on the old program. We're more than doubling the number of caregivers and family members who will be granted permanent residency in 2015 and again in 2016. This essentially means that the people who have been waiting for 4, 5, 6 years will now be getting permanent residency in 1 or 2 years.
How does the new law affect the family reunification program?
We're doing away with the backlog. We're providing for faster permanent residency. This means that caregivers who qualify for the new permanent residency part of the program will be getting their applications approved in 6 months or less, as opposed to 3 or 4 or 5 years. This is much better from a family reunification point of view.
There are criticisms to this program. How would you respond to them?
Well, the main criticism comes from some people who I think are totally unrealistic, who say that all the caregivers should immediately get permanent residency in Canada. I think this request of immediate permanent residency simply is not realistic. It doesn't exist anywhere else in the world. What we want to do is to say, if a caregiver comes here on a work permit and they qualify subsequently for permanent residency, they'll get that permanent residency within a matter of months, and their families will come here, and they will not have to be at risk of exploitation by living in someone else's house. I think this is a massive improvement. And by the way, can I just say, since your audience are Canadians of Filipino origin, how proud we are that Philippines has become the #1 source country of immigration to Canada in the past few years. With the huge increase in permanent residency admissions for caregivers in 2015 and 16, I estimate that we will be receiving over 40, perhaps as many as 50,000 permanent residents from Philippines in 2015 and 2016. We think that's great for Canada, and that's a great opportunity for those Pinoys who have made Canada their new home.
Well, that's very nice to hear, Mr. Kenny. We would like to thank you very much for the time you have given us. Salamat for your time.
Thank you very much. Salamat.
This is Zinaida Karubi reporting for Mabuhay Montreal TV.
Montreal's best tutoring center and summer camp, the Valikit Academy, grades K to Cégep, corner Van Horn and Victoria. 514-507-8880. The Valikit Academy, Montreal's best tutoring center and summer camp. Call now, 514-507-8880.
Welcome back to MMTV.
At Derwin, sa ngayon, may importanteng mensahe galing sa ating producer na si Sinaida Karubi.
Good evening, everyone. On behalf of myself and Filipino TV Productions and Mabuhay Montreal TV, I would like to express to you my sincere appreciation for your continued support. By the end of 1 year and 2 seasons, we need to take a break in order for us to have new ideas, new perspective in producing programs that will inspire you in your daily life. I would also like to thank all the members of my TV crew for the long hours of labor and time that they need in order to produce quality programs that we have all enjoyed over the past year. Magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. Ako po ay nagpapasalamat sa pangalan ng Filipino TV Productions at Mabuhay Montreal TV. Ngunit pagkatapos ng 1 taon na kami ay nagpapalabas ng mga programang ito, kami po ay nangangailangan magpanibago ng lakas upang magkaroon ulit ng mga bagong ideas, mga bagong programa na makakatulong sa ating lahat sa pagpapaunlad pa ng ating mga buhay. Ako po rin nagpapasalamat sa lahat ng miyembro ng MMTV crew. Dahil sa kanila, nagkaroon tayo ng magandang programa na ating pinanood sa loob ng 1 taon. Hanggang sa muli, harinawa, kayo ay manood ulit. Good night and see you again.
Magandang gabi sa inyong lahat. Ako po si Nida Kirapas, Presidente ng Filipino Association of Montreal. Sa ating mga kababayan dito sa Montreal, Quebec, Canada at sa Pilipinas, sana'y pagpalain kayo ng ating Panginoon ang masaganang Kapaskuhan at manibagong-bagong taon. Sana'y magkaroon ng kapayapaan at pagkakaisa sa buong mundo. Maligayang Pasko po sa inyong lahat.
Mao ang Christmas card giagwahag humot. Ang honeymoon na mitpalpat kay way nahot. Mao ang regalong wala gyud mo abot. Ay duha ka itlog nga hilaw og binugok. Ang surisong taas og humok-humok. Dito ba nga giinom maoy nakahubog. Ang mananaygon gitabla naglagot. Mao ang agta nga sapyot og lobot. Mao si Santang mitambok og samot. Kun atong dugtungon istoryang dili masabot. Malipay ang mga batang gagmay, mga lipay sab ang atong tatay ug nanay. Magbuhat og Christmas tree, magluto, maghikay, may mga parol, dekorasyon gipamitay. Awit sa panaygon, bisan asang balay, ang shopping center maghuot, mag-inilugay. regalo maghinatagay. Kung lisod sa kwarta kay bordoy usahay, ang ninong o ninang intaon man likay.
Marami pong salamat sa pagtangkilik sa aming programa.
Na patuloy nagnililingkod sa ating mga kababayan
Muli po tayong magsama-sama.
dito sa MMTV.
Minsan sa buhay ay nadarama ang lungkot, minsan ay maligaya. Lagi na lang ika'y nag-aalala, nangangambang baka ikaw ay iiwan. Aalala yan ang munting hakbang, bawat sandali